Okay, guys, welcome back to the session. So, guys, yesterday we were touching upon the automation account. Now, within the automation account, we talked about that how the automation account help us in order to automate our processes, right? Now, we talked about that what are the components of the automation account that we have over here. One component is your process automation, and the other component we talked about regarding the configuration management through which you will be able to do the desired state configuration. Let's say if you want to make any changes in multiple environments at a one time, or if you like to track any sort of the resources which are trying to get updated through the automation account, or any changes that you will be doing, which of the resources has been updated. And we talked about that for the inventory and track changes, we have a substantial dependency on the log analytics workspace. So we will be able to capture the logs and we can take the action. Similarly, we have update management. And for the process automation, we going to run the runbooks, but in order to do the runbooks over here, we need to ensure that the shared component dependency has to be met before that, so that we should have declared variable packages if you are running Python and graphical script modules, if you will be going with PowerShell scripts, and there are certain other shared component which can be used by the scripts or multiple scripts together, like the credentials and your certificates as well. Now, in order to use this particular automation account, I have just created this automation account over here. How to create an automation account? Go to your all services, type your automation account, and just name an automation account, and we will be able to create the automation account as well, right? Just click on create, give a name, select a location, and we will be able to create an automation account over here. I have created one already just to save some time over here, because we wanted to do the process automation, and for that we need to import this particular Azure ARM, right? So Azure RM will be deployed over here. So I have already initiated the import, guys, and it's been 10 minutes that import is going on. So in another 10 or 15 minutes, the entire import process will be completed and we will be having the modules available over here. Now, guys, in the overview, you will be able to see any of the tasks that you have executed with the help of the runbook, whether the task has been failed, suspended, completed, run, queued, or stopped. Further, you will be able to see the activities related to the automation account which has been taken place. You can use role-based access control for the users or for the services which can interact with the automation account. Tags you are already aware about is for consolidation and categorization purpose, because in the production, we are not the only one who will be working over here. Yeah. Now, further, we have the option for diagnostics and solving problems. So guys, as it's a PaaS as a offering that Microsoft has given bunch of services. So in case if you're facing any challenges, you can use these troubleshooters to avoid those kind of the problems. Now we have inventory. Now guys, inventory, as I mentioned earlier, has a substantial dependency on the log analytics workspace. So I'm just going to select and I'm just going to enable it. It will create a by default log analytics workspace in the backend. And once this will be done, this will be also enabled for your track changes as well. Now we're going to touch upon this in a while, but before that, I'm going to show you the desired state configuration, that how the desired state configuration will take place if you have any resource and you would like to push any sort of the script inside that particular resource. Now for that particular purpose, I required a VM, which I will be managing through the automation account. Now, for that particular purpose, I will be creating Windows Server 2016 machine. So I'll be selecting RG. Here I'll be selecting, let's say, my VM. Location East US, using Windows Server 2016 data center licensed image over here, and creating this particular VM. Okay, guys, so this will take few more seconds. Now going back to the automation account, meanwhile, your machine has been created, going into all services, going back to the automation account. Now within the automation account, the first thing what we need to do in order to manage this particular resource using the automation account desired state configuration, we need to connect this particular node over here. So guys, as we can see, the moment I went into this option add, you can see you have bunch of resources available over here. This is the machine that I have recently created. I will going to target this particular machine and I'm going to connect. Now, the moment you will be connecting, it will ask you certain information that what will be the name of the configuration and what will be the frequency that you will be releasing those kind of the changes in the machine. I'll just go with the default configuration over here, continue configuration. And once this will be connected, we can manage the script from here itself. Now, meanwhile, this is getting connected. What we need to do, we need to use a configuration that I would like to bring. Now, how the configuration will be brought over here with the help of the script. So I'm going to use add option and I'm going to bring my file, which I will be using in order to run on this particular resource. So guys, this is my test script which are available. So I'm just going to use this install script option. I'm going to just open this in Notepad++ in order to show you what exactly I will be using. So guys, I'm just using the configuration for the IIS installation. Now, the idea is to push this particular script inside the machine through the automation account. And this you can not only do for one machine, but you can do for hundreds and thousands of the machine which are connected with the automation account in a one time. Now, currently, I'm just using one machine which is connected to the automation account. And before we will be executing any script, we need to ensure that there should not be any issues associated with the script. So for that particular purpose, what we need to do, we need to upload this particular script over here and we need to compile this script. So I'm just going to upload this script over here now. The moment this script will be uploaded, you will be able to see this particular script. So this script is available. Click on this script. There is an option to compile. Click on compile and click on yes. The moment this will be compiled, you will be able to see the status over here. Meanwhile, you can click on node. Guys, currently you can see there is no node associated with that. It means your adding node process is still in the process over here. And that you can also see it is still connecting. Yeah. So this will take a while. The moment your machine will be connected, it will show the compliant status as 1. The moment you will be pushing any sort of the script and there will be any changes happening, it will show the pending. And the moment changes are getting made, it will show in progress when the changes getting done on the machine. Apart from that, if any script that you will be pushing, which is getting failed, you can see over here, not compliant resources, you can see here guys, and unresponsive. If the machine is shut down and you're trying to make any update on hundreds machine, how many resources are unresponsive in nature, you will be able to track all this information with the help of this. Now currently, let me refresh it and let me see whether my node is available. Now guys, the moment my node is available, it is showing the compliant status over here, and you can see your node is now been detected by your automation account. You can see the last time and the version when this has been happened. Now, if I go into the configuration, meanwhile, let me refresh this. Hopefully, my script has also been compiled successfully. Now, this is the time that I will be using this script and I will be pushing inside my node over here. So going back, selecting my node. And here you can assign any sort of the configuration. So you can click over here. My script will be available and I will be assigning this particular script to this particular node. Now, the moment I have assigned, you can see the status changing over here from compliant to pending, and the same will be visible over here as well. So this will take a while the configuration of the resource is getting changed over here, right? So we'll come back on this in few minutes. Now, I'm just leaving this machine where we have pushed any desired state configuration inside that particular node. Now, meanwhile, this is happening. Let's go ahead and talk about the process automation as well. Now, for the process automation, the first thing that you need to be ready with your runbook, right? And the dependencies which will helping us in order to execute this particular runbook. Now, where exactly that I will be able to see the dependencies? So guys, you will be able to see the dependencies in the shared resources. Now here, there are a bunch of options that can be shared among the multiple runbooks that we have created. Now you can have the schedules. So if you want any particular script to be scheduled and executed in a particular duration of time, you can use it. And you can also schedule your update management as well, if in case required. You can mention the time zone and whether this script something which you would like to run once or whether it is a recurring, because there are certain scripts that we use for compliance purpose and we want that script to be running and fetching the information every week or every month as well. So those kind of the script can be used as recurring as well over here, and you can set the duration, at what duration of time it will be pulling the reports. Further, you have the modules if you are using the PowerShell. Now, before we go ahead and get into the modules, let me show you the options. What are the options available that you can use in the runbooks? So you can give the name, you can bring PowerShell, Python 2, Python 3, graphical, PowerShell workflow, and graphical workflow script as mentioned earlier in the demo. Now guys, here you can create the jobs as well. If you want to create any sort of the jobs, if you will like to see the status, runbook galleries are available, that if in case you like to bring any specific module that you are targeting for a particular execution, you can bring over here. Now, automation account is not only capable of managing the resources within Azure, but let's say if I need to push any sort of the changes to my on-premises or in cross-cloud platform environment like AWS and GCP, you will be able to do that as well. So these are a bunch of options available like your hybrid worker groups. If you have configured any hybrid worker groups outside Azure, for that you need to download an agent, that is your AAA, that is your Azure automation agent that you need to configure on those resources. You have watcher task as well if you want to see the frequency on those resources and the action over there. Further, as I mentioned, the shared resources component can be used by multiple runbooks. For an example, let's say I have created a runbook in order to make any changes in certain resources, and there is another script that I'm running on the similar resources, but for a different purpose. But definitely, guys, those resources may require the similar kind of the certificates or maybe the connection string and maybe the credential. So all these information will be defined so that the multiple runbooks can be used in order to manage the resources with the help of the similar security information, so there will not be any challenges that we will be facing. Further, there are options available for the variables as well. Now, what is the job of the variable? Now, guys, there are certain scripts that you will be passing, and there are few components you may would like to verify or change each and every time you will be running the script. For an example, let's say if I'm creating a virtual machine, I would like to change the location and I would like to change the resource group each and every time. And so that I would like to define those components in the variable, and probably the similar components may be used for the another runbooks as well. And that is the reason we call it shared component, because multiple runbooks will be using them. Now, where exactly this import is coming. So guys, my import has been succeeded. Now where we have imported, click on the module because we will be using PowerShell over here. And you can see guys, it's all downloaded today itself. 7:36 a.m., 7:37, 7:40. So by the time we were discussing the desired state configuration, it was importing all the required modules over here. Now, as the modules are available, this is the time that we will be bringing our runbook. Now, before we go ahead and do that, let me show you what kind of the runbook that we will be using over here. Now, this runbook is available on my system, and this runbook is a PowerShell workflow script. Now, I have not created this script. This is available on the Microsoft document, so I have just taken it from there. Now, in this particular script, you can see it's a creation of the two virtual machine with the particular resource group, location, username, and the password. And all these informations are defined as a variable over here. So we want that this information to be refined each and every time while somebody is going to run this script. Now, there are certain components that we have created as a standard, which not needs to be changed. For an example, the IP range that we have over here, the image configuration, for an example, Windows Server Data Center license over here, and the size of the disk, and the public IP, which will be used with this particular resource creation over here will not be changed. Only these things that needs to be redefined. So before we go ahead and execute this runbook, the variable needs to be declared. Now, as we have imported the module, so that part is ready, but variable needs to be taken care before execution of the runbook. So for that particular purpose, I will quickly go into the variable section. Going to click on variable. Let's say my VM1 name. Let's say I have given a name VM1. And I'm going to mention VM1. Let me give another variable over here. That is VM2. I'm giving VM2 over here. Let me give resource group name. Let me give a name, let's say my resource group. And guys, meanwhile, I would like to show you that we don't have any resource group with the name my resource group, right? So this we are creating as an infrastructure as a code with the help of the automation account. And guys, the location I'll be selecting West US. And you can see there is no location that I have chosen West US for any side of the resource creation over here. So now I'm going to create this. Once this will be there, I'll just go ahead and mention my location. So location I'll be mentioning, let's say West US region. Username. And a password with the generic information that I'll be using over here. Let's say I have used a generic password. Okay, guys, so variable has been taken care. Module is available. Now this is the time that I will be running our process automation with the help of the runbooks. So going into the runbooks now, either you can import or you can create, that is your choice. If the runbook is available, you can also use import as well. I'm just going to give a name, let's say my test. Going to open the runbook once again. Going to copy this particular runbook over here. And here, going back to the automation account, going to mention that this is a PowerShell workflow script that I'm creating. And I'm creating this runbook. The moment you will be creating it, it will be giving you a test pane where you will be able to execute this. So the best part is, guys, that you don't have to install any sort of the platform related information over here. Only you just need to take care of the framework by importing the libraries. So I'm just going to mention the script that I had over here now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to test this particular script. Now the moment I will do the test, it will going to start. It will queue all the process in the sequential order and it will execute this particular script. Now this will take few seconds. By the time it will be creating the resources for us. Now this is getting started and then it will start execution, guys. So this will take few minutes.
So in a way, you're using this as an ARM template, am I right?
See, whenever you will be using any particular script, right? Without ARM, nothing can be deployed in Azure, right? So it doesn't
Okay.
matter what kind of a script that you will be using. Let me quickly show you over here. That as we mentioned, right? I mean, let me go back to that same picture. See guys, we are currently using automation account, right? So it's nothing but a kind of a REST API that you will be using, right? Now, let's say if you would have used Portal, if you have used CLI or PowerShell or any particular tool like Ansible, Terraform, Automation Account, Chef, Puppet, all these are a form of the API. So the moment you will be pushing any sort of the script in the backend, it will be converted in the form of the JSON file only. If you want, you can directly target the JSON template as well. Or if you are using any script, anyways, it will be converted into the JSON. Yeah.
Okay.
So over here, going back. So as this script is running, now this is the time to verify whether the resources are getting created or not. So let me go ahead and refresh this over here. And guys, you can see that this My Resource Group is available in the West US region. And if you see inside it, you will see a bunch of resources are getting created over here. And when these resources got created, if I go ahead and click on deployment, it will take a while, guys, to show this information in a while. But you will be able to get all this information, guys. Yeah, and this is what we have defined over here. Public IP was mentioned, and in the West US region, all these resources got deployed, and we know that we have not have any resource group in the West US region. Yeah. So guys, this is how you can use your process automation in order to deploy your resources using infrastructure as a code. So basically, you can say that this is the Microsoft Managed tool, which is fulfilling your automation requirement, just like your Terraform and the Ansible that we use. Now, why we use Terraform and the Ansible? But guys, over here, there are people who are working with multiple clients. They are working with AWS, they are working with GCP, they are working with Azure, and they are working on premises as well. Now, in such kind of the situation, they would like to have a common tool so that which can be used in multiple cloud platform as well. Now, if a person is working on the AWS, they need to learn Azure Automation Account if they would like to use Azure. If they are using AWS, they would like to learn that. So some people want to have a common tool mechanism so that they can use Terraform and the Ansible. But guys, let me tell you, Azure Automation Account is also capable of interacting with AWS and GCP, and we can create resources on the basis of that as well. But the thing is, Ansible and Terraform are most common tools that we use nowadays in order to process the automation. The whatever action that we have taken so far, this can be taken with the help of those tools as well. Now, as we have seen this process automation, going back to my automation account, and within the automation account, this time we need to check the desired state configuration status. So for that, I'm just going back to the DSC. Now it is still showing pending, guys. So we will come back after here, after some time over here in order to see the outcome. Now, meanwhile, if you go into the inventory, you can see that your log analytics workspace is available, and inventory have certain information about the machine, software, file, Windows registry, Windows service, Linux daemon, machine. So if in case, if you're managing multiple resources using the automation account, you can see over here, if you're trying to add any VM in the inventory, so that you would like to have this information, you can select and you can enable it over here. Yeah. So it's showing ready to enable if you want to have it. Right? And consideration can be the cross region because this log analytics workspace gets created in the East US2 region. Track changes can also be a helpful requirements, guys, which can help you tracking the changes on any sort of the resources that you will be doing, any events, daemon, files, registry changes, right? So this is something that you can track over here for Azure and non-Azure resources. And this is where your log analytics workspace is coming into the picture, that once this will be done, you can run the query as well in order to find that particular information. Now that particular query can help us in order to get the status of the resources. Now this we will see in upcoming session, that how we can go ahead and use log analytics workspace and your application insight for the monitoring, and what are the various ways that we can enhance the capability of the monitoring with the help of this. As you can see, it is capable of running the query of any kind of the components that you would like to use, and you can type your own query, but for that you required KQL, that is your Kusto query language understanding. You can type your own query over here. In Query Explorer, you will be finding there are a lot of queries available that you can use over here for the log management. You can select and the query will be available and you will be able to run that particular query as well. Now, currently, guys, definitely this will give me the error because the status is still pending for the IAS. So there is no point writing this particular query right now. Now, guys, going back to my portal, you do have an option for the update management. For an example, let's say I would like to schedule any update. Now, updates can also fail. Now, how you will get this information? Again, you have to enable your update management with your log analytics workspace. And the moment your update management will be enabled, you will get an option to create a schedule that when you would like to do any sort of the patching and the update management among the resources which are connected using the automation account.
What are the pricing details of this automation account? I mean, for this service?
See, it depends on how many resources you will be managing for this. So Azure
Okay.
automation account pricing documents, we can refer to that.
Okay.
The cost consideration, just give me 1 minute. Yeah, here it is. So depending on the region, depending on number of the jobs that you will be running, right? So you will be getting 500 minutes free and minimum price will be 0.145 per minute that you will be getting. So depending how long jobs that you will be running using the automation account. So basically you need to optimize the size of the script.
Got it.
Yeah. Further, you have watcher service, which is giving you continuous monitoring as well, right? So it is, you can see 744 hours you are getting free, and this is the cost afterwards as well. So it is not that excessively charging anyone, but for non-Azure resources outside Azure, if you are managing, let's say 5 worker nodes which are not hosted on Azure, let's say on the on-premises or cross-cloud platform, then it will be certain things that you would like to consider. But if you consider it with from the production cost, it is not that high. And it can change
Got
from
it.
location or location as well. Yeah. So just check.
Yes.
Okay. So guys, this update management will be available in few seconds. I hope it should be there. Let me refresh the window, guys, over here. Now, if I go to the update management, guys, now it is giving you the option to schedule the update as well. So you can click over here, target your Linux and Windows machine. And with the help of that, you can update any sort of the patch that you will have over here. You can include any sort of the updates, right? Any KBIDs that you would like to provide over here. Any settings related to that time zone, that when you would like to schedule this particular updates, any script that you would like to run pre and post after the installation has been done. And if you want any reboot is required, you can also set that particular reboot, that once the patching has been done, the resource can be automatically rebooted or restarted from here itself. So all these kind of things, whatever that you would like to use using Terraform and Ansible, you can manage from the Azure automation account as well. Yeah. Now the only thing is left is about the desired state configuration. So that will be coming anytime soon over here. So I'm just going to leave this particular process. Yeah. Now guys, meanwhile, as we have gone through with the automation account, now this is the time to see about the Ansible and the Terraform as well. Now guys, if in case you have those kind of the requirements, I'm getting into my VM once again that I have created for my lab environment. Let me quickly start this machine. So guys, what you need to do, you need to do 2 labs now, right? For the automation account concept to be clear. And further, you can go with the Kubernetes and the container-based labs as well, through which you will be able to host your resources within Azure, right? So the target is that we can do lab number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All these labs now you will be able to easily do because now we have an understanding of the infrastructure as a code and how we can go ahead and do this over here. So I'll just quickly connect. Okay, guys, logging into the dev test environment now. Also opening the demo generator from where we can bring our templates as well. Now, what you need to do, guys, just bring your templates related to the Ansible and Terraform over here. So for that particular purpose, I'm just choosing one of the template. Go for dev test labs over here. And there are multiple templates available that you can bring for your Kubernetes as well. If you like to test for the Selenium, your Gate, SonarQube, depending what kind of the practicals that you would like to perform over here, all will be available, right? So currently, as we are going for the Terraform, so we are just looking for this Terraform templates, and I'm just going to select over here. Select your organization where you would like to bring this. Manage the extension over here. And let's say I'm bringing this particular project in. So we just need to wait for a few seconds. By the time it will be bringing that particular project. Navigating to the project now. Now I'm inside the Terraform project, guys, where you can have the pipelines that you can bring over here, right? So with the help of this, you can go ahead and do your build process. If in case if you like to edit the Terraform pipeline, you need to learn the Terraform syntax, which is available over here. You can bring your task over here. So let's say it will help you for building, testing, and publishing, and any sort of the requirement that you required, you can bring your variables that you can declare. So the way we are declaring the variables, those variables are also, you have to mention over here as well, what kind of the trigger that you will be using, whether it's a manual trigger, or if you like to have a continuous integration to be enabled over here using the Terraform, you can enable depending on your requirements. You can have the options available that in case if you like to have any project collection and you want any particular execution of any script, let's say within 5 minutes or 10 minutes or any sort of the options, you can do that. And you can see the history of the changes over here as well. Now, let's say if you like to execute any sort of the build process. So before release, you need to build this. So I'm just going to execute this particular pipeline, which is available over here. So I'm going to select this now, and I'm going to run this particular pipeline, which is helping me to build the process, which is available over here. Now, this job will take a while. It will helping me building all the integration of your repositories, which are available over here. So as that is one of the projects and all the codes will be available and your developers will be doing push and pull. Now, every given point of time, just like your ordinary pipeline that what we have seen before, this process will be going to be executed. Currently, we have manually executed this particular task so that we can see the number of the jobs. Once this job will be done, you will be able to design your release strategy. And with the help of that, you can create resources within production. So this will take few minutes for the execution. It will be building, it will be testing, and any problem will be happening. It will be throwing you the error message, just like your run books, that the moment you will be executing the run book, it will start, it will run, and if it will also test. And that is the reason we call that test pane as well. So if there will be any problem, you will be able to fix that particular problem initially. So similar job we will be doing over here, guys. Now in the task pane, if you like to use CLI PowerShell, that is a choice. You can bring those tasks over there and you can integrate the services without any problem over here. So we just need to wait for the build to be completed before we go ahead and proceed with the release. So this will take a while. Meanwhile, let me quickly check about my automation account, that what automation account has done the desired state configuration or not. So going back to the automation account as well. Okay, guys, both the things are running right now. We just need to wait. By the time this processes will be finished, meanwhile, guys, any questions that you have, you can just let me know. This is done, guys. Now what we can do, we can go back to the release as well. Now in the release, you can either edit or you can create as well. Now let's say I'm going into my release pipeline, which is available, guys. Over here, you can see the Terraform has been executed. You can add multiple stages, and within the stages, you can add the approval as well. We call it gates. Now, if in case you would like to do any kind of the testing, let's say A/B testing or any sort of the environment, you can create multiple stages as well. You can add more stages. Currently, we are going for the deployment. So what you need to do, you just need to authenticate using the subscription that you will be using for the deployment over here. So it will be asking you to provide the subscription information, provide all the subscription information that you will be using. So what subscription we are using for that particular purpose, you need to check your subscription ID if you are dealing with the multiple subscription over here. So the subscription ID will tell you that which subscription that it's supposed to. So this subscription ending with 400 over here. So we need to target that particular subscription in case there will be any subscription with 400, which is active currently over here, and you need to authorize this. Otherwise your execution will fail, guys, because the moment you will do the release, definitely the number of the jobs will be running, and they required authentication and authorization that which particular subscription we will be using for the charging purpose over here. Similarly, we will be selecting Azure Resource Manager over here. Classic will no longer be in use, guys. Further, you can have your integer mention over here that which subscription you will be using, and then you will be proceeding with the execution of this as well. Any container that you will be using, guys, that you can select. If you are not using, mention the name. Let's say my test. It will help you creating that Terraform test plan, guys. It's supposed to be authenticated through the subscription again. Any approval, we required an auto approval mechanism. So we are not putting any of the gates, guys. Usually we put gates for the approval if we have multiple departments and we are working with the different sections and we required approval from them. Then we will be using that particular choice over here. Now we required an approval from the app service plan deployments over here. We have selected auto approve. This is supposed to be okay. Okay, guys. So we are done with the approval now. Now we can proceed with the execution of this. Hopefully there are agent job that needs to be available, which particular agent pool that you would like to use, whether you would like to use self-hosted or Azure pipelines for that. Let's say I'm just going with the Azure pipeline and specified what will be that you will be using, right? So you can pick any, guys, whatever you required. You can go with the Ubuntu latest. Let's go ahead and check what lab has to say about it. But which particular pipeline that we should be using? Just give me 1 minute. Not demo generator, guys. AZ400 labs. Just give me a minute, guys. I'm just checking upon the image version that we should be using over here.
Windows 29, I think. Somewhere I saw.
Sorry?
Windows 29, I think. Somewhere I saw
Windows?
here.
Okay, no problem. We can go with that then. Okay. So let me go ahead and click on save, and let me go ahead and continue with the release. So release has been created, guys. It is getting initiated over here. It's just a document. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, guys, the process has been queued. So rest, it will do the needful for you guys. It will help you creating your web application with the help of this release within your Azure, as we have already authenticated and authorized using the subscription as well. You can use the Ansible as well. That lab is also available, guys, if you like to use the Ansible. And that is up to you guys. If you want to run the pipeline using the Azure based agent, the Ansible also gives you that particular leverage, or you can use your VMs as well. That lab is also available, guys. You can try lab number 13, which is related to the lab number 14 itself, which is associated with the Ansible. So you can use your Ansible as well, just like what we have did over here. So create a Ubuntu machine, authenticate the way we have authenticated, and once you will be able to authenticate a Linux machine using the Python command, it will also help you executing your task over here, just like what we are executing on Azure Host Agent. So these labs are very small, guys. This will not take more than 30 minutes in order to get this done. So try using that as well, guys. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Let me quickly go back. Yeah. So it will take few minutes. Meanwhile, checking upon my automation account, what automation account has to do. Just give me 1 minute. This machine is showing compliant, guys, and we can probably test this machine by logging into my VM now. So it will take few seconds, guys. You can see IIS is available. Now, if in case if you'd like to test it again, you can just open your browser and just type localhost, and you will see the IIS is available or not. changes has been made, guys. As we can see already, IIS is now reflecting over here. Now this is on one machine, guys. You can manage hundreds of machines like this in one go. So desired state configuration has also been completed over here. Just give me 1 minute, guys. So guys, have you started performing the practicals? Are we getting time?
I did started with flu, but due to the hectic schedule, mostly I'll be doing it on the weekends.
Okay. Okay, guys. So just try to do these labs. These labs are pretty soluble, guys. I mean, every instructions will be available. You will not face much challenges. But guys, at least target one lab on daily basis, because these labs are time consuming. Not that difficult, but yes, it will take time, guys. Lengthy labs. Now, guys, there are other bunch of options as well that you can use for the swapping purpose as well, just in case if you like to do A/B testing mechanism. Now, that particular part we will be discussing tomorrow. Now, what is the concept that I just explain over here now, so that we can continue our practicals tomorrow on the basis of that. Now, guys, there are a few testing deployments that you may want to get into. You may encounter these kind of the terminology as well, like A/B testing, blue-green deployment, canary deployment, now what do you mean by this? What do you mean by A/B testing? Now, guys, the moment I will be deploying the resources, right, it doesn't mean that there is just, guys, you can see there is one more thing, guys. This Terraform resource group has been created over here, and hopefully I have initiated the deletion of this as well. Yeah, now it is failing because I've initiated the deletion. Anyways, guys, just leave this process. Now, guys, what happened when you follow this A/B testing mechanism? Now, what do you mean by A/B testing? Now, guys, on the platform as a service model, we know that we have the app service plan that we can use in order to host our web application. But we do have the swapping slots available, because, guys, the goof ups cannot only happening during the production or any particular DevOps environment. It can happen after the creation of the resource as well. So here you can give a name. Let's say I'm creating a resource group with the name my test. And here I'm going to give a name. Let's say my test for new app. Let's say I'm creating a web application, and that web application I'll be creating Node.js web application. Beneath it, I'm using Windows based operating system, and I'm going with the standard app service plan. Right now over here, guys, I have the staging slots that I can use for the production requirements. So let's say I'm creating this now. Now there is a monitoring service, guys, that is your application insight, which will help you to monitor your resources. So that can be used in order to monitor your services, guys. Yeah. So I'm creating this service as well. And let's say my application insight is also getting created with the creation of this web application. This is done. Okay, guys. So going into this deployment slot, for an example, let's say you have completed a deployment, right? And that deployment is running fine, but guys, the problem can happen after the deployment as well. For that particular purpose, you can add another slot. And guys, the moment you have another slot, you may want to test any particular new features over there or any particular changes. So not necessarily that your pipeline will be always, creating the resources within the production. You can have your staging slot or you can have a deployment slot as well that you can have ready just in case if your production goes down on the day of launch, you can have a swap. Or maybe you are working on the updated version. And let's say once the updated version will be done, you will be able to do the swapping as well. For that particular purpose, you do have an option available, add slot. You can give a name, my test for new app slot over here. Let's say this is the new app I'm creating. And whether you would like to clone any of the setting from the previous, or if you like to have your new, that is up to you guys. I'm just going to clone this particular setting. And once this will be available, the swap option, which was grayed out earlier, will be available and you will be able to do the swapping as well over here. So this will take a while. So guys, now you can see your another application is also running on the same app service plan, as you can see, and you can have the option to swap them. Now, these kind of the changes, guys, what we call it during A/B testing. The terminology that we use over here is for A/B testing whenever we will be changing this kind of the slot. Now, blue-green deployment will come into the picture when you will be using a traffic manager. Now, your traffic manager is capable of routing the traffic cross region. Now, in order to do that, guys, we need to spend some time over here because the traffic manager have various different kind of the routing methodologies. So we're going to talk about that blue-green deployment in some time over here. Okay, so we'll talk about blue-green deployment and what is canary deployment and how we can go ahead and use it in the environment. We'll go ahead and touch upon that tomorrow, guys. And once we are done with this, then we'll be initiating our discussion on the monitoring. So monitoring is a big topic, guys. Here we need to learn several other components for the monitoring, like your log analytics workspace application inside, how we can go ahead and manage them. And also we need to learn about different kind of the agents, which will be helping us in order to capture in the production environment. Further, you can also use your Sonar Cube as well, which is a third party, and your White Bolt, which can be also integrated with your pipeline in order to test the efficiency of the code, or if there will be any hidden challenges that we will be facing. So that particular part, guys, we will be touching upon tomorrow. We will be touching upon blue-green deployment and the canary deployments. And when this will be done, we will going to discuss about the monitoring components, guys. Okay. Guys, are we able to follow so far? Any doubt, any queries? Any questions? Guys, in case you have, please let me know. Are we all good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys. So let's meet tomorrow then. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining today's session. See you all tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jitin.
Thank you. Thank you.